Alright, g'day peoples. Let's see here. We got, we want to talk today about the voice and a couple other things that's going on as well with uh, with the World Health Organization. Now with the voice, we'll start with the voice first. With that, the government are actually proposing for a referendum. Now with that referendum, they're actually saying that it's going to benefit the Aboriginals, so that way they can actually have a voice and be part of the decision makings within Australia. Well, but the problem is that is not actually the true. What is true is that they in 2019 they have actually made up a corporation, COB Voice, and it's actually it is part of the government as well. And with that, they with that, there's 360 tribes within Australia. Now, with that 360 tribes in Australia, they've all got their own areas within Australia. So, once the voice comes in, and they put this all under their corporate scam, then what they're going to do is basically charge you to go from one area to another area. So if you want to go to the beach, you're going to have to pay money to go to the beach. If you want to go to the mountains, and you're going to have to pay money to go into the mountains. If you want to take a 500-kilometer trip, so every stage that you go through, you're going to have to pay for that. All right, that's what all this is actually really about. Okay. The other thing too is we the World Health Organization, right, want to put in, I think it's 360 different new amendments to it. Right, and that's all. This is not just Australia problem. This is actually a worldwide problem. But in Australia, as far as I know, we've got actually a unique position, because what's actually happened in Australia is that our government is actually fraudulent. Right. Now, what I mean by that is that in 2022, the last federal election was fraud. The Governor General was the one who actually did the writs up. So because he was the witness to the writs. Sorry, because he was the witness to the writs, that means that the election is actually null and void, right? And the current Prime Minister has no authority at all to sign anything. Anything that this man does sign is actually null and void, right? It can't happen, right? And that's what people in Australia need to realise, that hey, the federal government is acting in fraud and in treason. That's what all this is about. So and the reason why that this has come about too, we actually have a really good constitution in Australia. It's actually the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901, and that still stands. And whatever they did in 1948 and 1973, it can't happen, because under our constitution, our real constitution of 1901, under section 128, there must be a referendum. And if that hasn't happened, then it's null and void. Right, so these things can't be put into place. Secondly, that what happened in 1973, as Rod Colton has actually got the Freedom of Information documents there, that right, he actually asked for the instruments to for them to show the instruments that Gulf Whitlam actually had the authority to turn Australia into a corporation, right, which is registered on in the US, and it has its own CIK number. And there is no instrument or authority given that exists, right? There's no referendum, so that means he had no authority to do it. That means he's acting in treason. And it's about time the federal police actually started doing their job and arresting these people, right? Because they've broken the law, right? They're in high treason. This is what it is, right? And everything since 1973 is a criminal act. What they have done. So people need to start looking at our original constitution real hard, because that is where our laws and our freedoms lie. Right. So with our constitution, the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901 is the highest law of the land that we know as Australia. Now, with that, because there's actually, in the preamble, it actually says, whereas we the people of New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, right? It doesn't say, the government of Australia. It doesn't say the corporations of Australia. It says whereas we the people of New South Wales, Victoria, Adelaide, Queensland, Tasmania, and that. Alright, so there it's showing who has the authority of the land we call Australia. So no government agency has anything over any of us. No company has anything over us. We are the living men and women who actually run and control our country. All we got to do is just get the government to be under our constitution, because not one of these people have actually taken up the correct oath, right? So because they haven't taken up the correct oath, that means they're all in treason. Every single politician that's actually in Parliament, if they have not taken up the correct oath, then I'm sorry, but you are in treason to the people of Australia, high treason, and you are committing fraud and pretending that you're someone that you're not. And under the so we need to people need to start to realize that, hey, we have a constitution. It's one of the best constitutions in the world. We need the public servants to actually be aligned under our constitution, right? Not under a fraud corporation that the people have never actually agreed on, and has never been in a referendum. Now that they also say, oh yeah, that we got the money in 1966. So that's but the thing is that with that there as well, there was no referendum on that either. So that means that the money that we're actually using right now is like monopoly money, because our money that we should be actually using is actually pounds and pence. There was no referendum on it. They just changed it, right? So that means that they again committed treason to the people of Australia, changing it so that way the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, could have the banks could actually start taking over our country. And then this is where all the deception and lies have actually started from, because we have been infiltrated by other means. And under Section 44 of our Constitution actually states that if there's a Section 1, 44.1, subsection 1, actually states that if there's a if a public official that's within the government is actually taking has anything to do with any corporation or outside influence or anything else, then that means they can't sit in our parliament, right? So let that sink in. So anybody, any politician, or I should say, any public servant sitting in our parliament, which is taking money from or giving orders from a corporation or anything like that, they are in treason. So, right, every single one of them. So anyone that's taking money from anyone, that's they're all in treason. And it states that in section 44, subsection 1, and people need to start to get that. Now you can actually get that constitution off commonlaw.earth, and it's not very thick. It's only like probably about 30 pages. But the a noted constitution is about 1,008 pages, and that there actually tells you like how our constitution became how it did, and actually goes into more of the detail of what our actually constitution that actually refers to and lies within, and actually shows that the these nobody within our no public servant under our banner of government can actually be a they cannot change anything unless there's a referendum, and it says that in section 128 of our constitution. So if there's hasn't been a referendum on it, and they've pushed and they've changed this, it's outside the scope of our constitution. Guess what? It doesn't exist. Right? It's null and void. Right? So all these, doesn't matter what they flip and sign at the moment. To do with the Voice, the World Health Organization, anything. Right? These people are in high treason in Australia. And the federal police need to start doing their job, and because they have no authority at all to be where they are. Alright, sign off. Have a great night.